I bet it's hard to believe that we are on the last unit. Yes, the last unit of semester 1 biology. Can you believe it? You still have another semester with me, so don't get too excited. Okay, so our last unit is evolution, and there's only 2 sections, so they'll go by fairly quickly. So of course you guys know I have to throw in some funny, weird, crazy pictures, because that's what I'm all about. So of course I have the evolution of phones. Alright, so you guys may not have been around for this kind of a phone right here, but yeah, that was like the earliest cell phone. It was like heavy, huge, you know, you carried that around in a bag. Maybe you guys weren't around for this one or even this one, but maybe this one. That was probably my first cell phone in college. Anyways, kind of funny. So we're going to talk about evolution. Let's get to it. So you guys know what we're talking about. Drum roll. Very exciting. Wah, wah, wah. Evolution is something that's always going to be taught in biology. And I've got a couple of personal takes on this that really, most importantly, I want you guys to get what you need to get out of this, not so much what the book always teaches. So I am going to give you guys all the facts, okay? I'm going to give you what your lesson talks about, but most importantly, I want you guys to really kind of focus on what your thoughts are on this, okay? So before we do that, of course, and I've got lots more to share with you guys, I want you guys to watch my little bit of humor on evolution. Now, it really has nothing to do like with the evolution we're going to talk about, but more or less something that I love to do, dancing. So we won't watch this whole video, but it's a great video. So watch Evolution of Dance.
Evolution of Dance.
Okay, gosh, I could keep going on and on and on. But most importantly, you guys know that dance has changed throughout the years. So has everything else. That's evolution. And I want you guys to, as we kind of go into the big picture, what does that really look like? Well, the big picture, and of course, take a look at this, good old evolution with the Legos. Okay, start off with this little teeny piece and you end up with a lovely man. No, really, it's not so much where did we come from. I think that's where so many hangups get so many hangups are and lie, is where when people start questioning, well, evolution is where did we come from? Do we come from apes, or do we come from God? Because those are the two main theories, basically. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of dumbing this down, and I don't mean to, because I might offend some scientists, really true scientists out there. But nonetheless, it's not so much about where we've come from, but really how things have come to what they are now. That to me is evolution. Everyone can have their own thoughts and their own beliefs on where man came from, but the things that have happened, since then to bring us to where we are at is what I like to teach about, because I think that's very important. We can see all those changes. Okay, so here's where I really want you guys to really do some searching. Okay, this is your chance to get the most out of your education, and I really truly mean that. That if you guys are unsure of where you came from, go do some research. Maybe you want to research evolution. Maybe you might come to some hard, good conclusions for yourself. But I really ask you guys to go and do that research on your own. I will state, of course, the facts and kind of what's out there. But please know that this is really a great time for you guys to figure out, do some soul searching on what you believe as well. Okay? So a theory. Let's talk about what a theory is, because that's what a lot of these topics that I'm going to talk about, they're theories. And that's again why I say go and do some research. Theories are, okay, if I need to refresh your memory because you may not remember, a set of statements or principles that are devised to explain a group of facts or phenomena, especially one that has been repeatedly tested or is widely accepted and can be used to make predictions about natural phenomena. Okay? It is also assumption based on limited information, knowledge, or conjecture. So those two definitions of a theory. Yes, there are definite kind of experimental data behind theories. It's not just someone's thought that they thought one time. But is it set in stone? No, theories change. Theories change over time. Theories change if something else has been found. So you guys have to know that all these theories that are presented to you could change, and again, that's where your education, that you do on your own really comes into play. Okay, so remember, these are theories. So when we talk about evolution in general, I want to give you these two terms, macroevolution and microevolution. These are two different terms that you're going to hear thrown around a lot. Macroevolution tends to be macro on a large scale. And I'm just giving an example, but a macro type of macroevolution would be something kind of very different going to something, again, very different. So a chicken that evolves into a dinosaur, which isn't really going to happen. But ultimately, we're talking on a big scale, okay? So something changing drastically into something else. Microevolution, on the other hand, is kind of small, minute types of evolution that occur maybe over a long period of time, okay? So the example here is a wolf that may evolve into different species of dogs, okay, based on a number of things that we're going to talk about coming up. But I'm not saying that either one is right or wrong, or you should believe in one or the other. Really, for the most part, most scientists believe that both kind of happen together, okay? So I won't go into it. I don't want to really express my opinions because that doesn't matter. It's about what you see in your lesson, and you guys go on and find your own opinions. So I need to stop myself sometimes. So Darwin and his thoughts. Darwin had lots of thoughts. Darwin, the father of evolution, okay? And I say that because he came up with a lot of different experiments that back up a lot of the theories that kind of make up evolution and the unit that we teach in school. So the four main things that Darwin kind of came up with: adaptation, All organisms adapt to their environments, which is a very true thing. Just like us as humans, we adapt to our environments. If we live near the equator, where it's very hot and humid, and we get sun, 362 days out of the year, your skin might be darker to protect yourself from the sun, or you might be a little bit more versed in being able to handle the humidity and the heat. So there's many things that our bodies adapt to. When we're at a higher elevation, you actually produce more blood cells so that you can capture the less amount of oxygen in the air. So there's a lot of adaptations that basically our bodies can do, and species in general. Variation. All organisms are variable in their traits. We just learned about genetics, right? So that's a very truthful statement from Darwin. All organisms are variable in their traits. Over-reproduction. All organisms tend to reproduce beyond their environment's capacity to support them. Okay? That tends to be true as well, but we'll see that further as we talk about this. But that was one of the things that Darwin came up with, is that typically organisms will tend to just reproduce beyond what their environment can hold. Okay? Natural selection, which we'll go into a little bit more. Since not all organisms are equally well adapted to their environments, some will survive and reproduce better than others. Okay, so that's a big one. We'll talk about that. This is AKA survival of the fittest, which I know you guys have all heard before. Okay, so let's talk just a little bit more about natural selection. So natural selection, kind of in a nutshell, as this picture may say. Okay, the mechanism for change in species was the process of natural selection. So here's just a lovely example that I found, and that is basically these birds are like, I love these green beetles. They taste so much better than the brown beetles. So they start eating these green beetles, okay? And they continue to eat the green beetles. So generations later, you're like, not as many green beetles because they keep getting eaten, all right? So these brown beetles are starting to flourish. And then generations later again, green beetles have basically been selected against and brown beetles have flourished. So guess what, birds? You're going to have to eat the brown beetles. Sorry. Okay, so that's what happens with natural selection, though, is if for some reason or another, maybe, these beetles weren't camouflaged. Not necessarily that they tasted better, but maybe they weren't camouflaged. So the birds were able to eat them easier, see them easier. They were easier prey. So therefore, the brown beetles were left alone and they flourished. And the green beetles could possibly disappear and become extinct. That is survival of the fittest, or natural selection, in a nutshell, of course. All right, so again, this was just kind of an intro to evolution. I really mean this. Fight ignorance, okay? I am ignorant in many things that I'm trying to fight, so I go and educate myself. Please do that. If you guys don't know what you think about evolution, or maybe you're just used to hearing people tell you what you should think and what you should believe, go and do some research for yourself. This is your education. Make the most of it. Come up with your own thoughts, okay, on evolution. I don't care what they are as long as you have them, right? That's good, okay? So that's it for the introduction. Stay tuned.